Yes, good morning, all of you. And okay, we have to solve this question. Mass Limited has a current ratio of 2.5:1. Its working capital is rupees 1,20,000. Total assets are of rupees 3,80,000. Total debt of rupees 2,80,000. Calculate debt to equity ratio. Now, see, first information is given here. See, whenever you will read the question, you may not get the way that how to solve this question. So just start writing what is given in the question. That will give you the way how to proceed in this question. So first I will write the formula. Current ratio is equal to current assets upon current liabilities and that is given 2.5:1. So it will be 2.5 upon 1. So now when you will cross multiply it, then you will get the value of current assets because you don't know the value of both of the variables. Current assets is equal to 2.5 multiplied by current liabilities. This equation you will get. Now second information we will use because we can't go beyond that. We know that we don't know the value of current assets. We don't know the value of current liabilities also. So that's why we are helpless beyond that. We will not be able to proceed further in this equation. So we will leave this equation. Then we will proceed towards the next information, which is given working capital. Working capital is given. Working capital is equal to current assets. Always recite the formula whenever you are writing the formula minus current liabilities. Only this is the way that you will be clear about the logic and formulas. Liabilities. Current assets minus current liabilities. Now, again, I don't know the value of current assets and current liabilities. I know the value of working capital that I will put in it. 1,20,000 is equal to. I don't know the value of current assets. What is the exact amount of current assets or what is the absolute amount of current assets? But I know that I can say current assets as 2.5 current liabilities from this equation. So I will put this value here, 2.5 current liabilities minus current liabilities. So now practically what I have done, I have converted this equation into a single variable. I have converted this equation into a single variable. Now I can solve this equation also easily. So it will be 1.5 current liabilities is equal to 1,20,000. So now current liabilities will be equal to current liabilities is equal to 1,20,000 divided by 1.5. And if I will simplify it, it will become 12 lakh upon 15, first thing. Then I can cut it with the help of 3. It will become 4 lakh upon 5, and then I can directly cut it. It will become 80,000. So now I got the value of current liabilities. Value of current liabilities is 80,000. Now I can calculate the value of current assets also. So current assets is equal to but I don't need to calculate value of current assets. Fine, but okay, 2.5 multiplied, because my ratio is different here. 2.5 multiplied by 80,000. So it will be 1,60,000 and 40,000, 2 lakh. Now, which ratio I have to calculate? I have to calculate debt to equity ratio. So now I will make this balance sheet, and I will take help of this balance sheet so that I will be able to determine what amount I am having and what I need to calculate. And now see, shareholder fund is not given in this question, and I don't find it. Total debt is given 2,80,000. So total debt is combination of non-current liabilities and current liabilities. So I can write it here. Total debt is equal to non-current liability plus current liability Now total debt value I know it is 2,80,000. 2,80,000 is equal to non-current liability. I have to calculate non-current liability. That will be value of my debt plus current liability I know 80,000. So that way my non-current liability will be non-current liability is equal to 2,80,000 minus 80,000, and it will be rupees 2 lakh. So that is value of my debt. Now you can write here also non-current liability is equal to debt is equal to 2,80,000 minus 80,000. Now I need to calculate the value of equity. So now total value of assets is given. Total value of asset is given 3,80,000. So I can write here total value of assets. I can write 3,80,000. I can write here also 3,80,000. Then total debt is given. So now I know this value is 2 lakh and this value is 80,000. So I can easily calculate shareholder fund. Shareholder fund will be how much? 1 lakh. So I have to present this information in formula terms. So I will write here shareholder fund is equal to total assets minus non-current liability minus current liability. So shareholder fund I can calculate is equal to total assets is 3,80,000 minus 2 lakh minus 80,000. It is coming 1 lakh. So this value I have calculated. Now I have calculated both the values, debt also and equity also. So I can calculate now debt equity ratio. So debt equity ratio, I will copy the formula so that so debt upon equity, debt I know it is 2 lakh and equity I know it is 1 lakh. So that way my debt equity ratio will be 2:1. So this way you have to proceed in such questions. Whatever information is given, just start writing that. You will always get the way how to proceed in the question. You have to use your tools. Okay, now coming to the next question. Assuming that the debt equity ratio is 2:1, state giving reasons whether this ratio would increase, decrease, or remain unchanged in the following cases. So again, we have to decide which account this transaction is affecting and whether it is affecting our debt equity ratio or not. For that purpose, we will keep the formula in front of us also, so that we will be able to decide whether which either numerator is affected or denominator is affected. That we have to decide also. And in the question, debt equity ratio is given 2:1, and you can see that we have also assumed the value debt equal to 2 lakh and equity is equal to 1 lakh, and the ratio is coming 2:1. Now we can take help of values sometimes also if we need to assume some value for deciding the effect. Now see, purchase of fixed asset on a credit of 2 months. So first thing, what journal entry you will be doing for this purchase of fixed asset on credit? Obviously, the journal entry will be fixed asset account debit to vendor account. Fixed asset account debit to vendor, because you are purchasing on credit. So that's why you will be doing this entry. Now, due to this entry, what will happen? First thing, your fixed assets will increase. Your fixed assets will increase. But if you will observe the formula, neither debt nor equity, they both don't have any value of fixed asset. So that's why even your fixed assets are increasing, it will not affect your value of debt or equity. Then second thing is vendor. Now vendor is your creditor, but the term is given 2 months. The term of credit is only 2 months. So that will be a short-term liability. It will not be a long-term liability. It will not be a non-current liability. So it will not be a part of debt also. So that's why what is happening due to this transaction, neither your debt nor your equity, nothing is getting changed. So that's why this ratio will remain same. I hope the logic is clear to all of you. So the answer will be no change. And we will write here the reason: both debt and equity remain unchanged this will be the reason. Now next is purchase of fixed asset on a long-term deferred payment basis. Now again you are purchasing a fixed asset, but this time you are purchasing on the terms of long-term deferred payment basis, means the credit will be for long-term. Now the credit is not of short-term. So that's why what will happen, your non-current liability will increase. Your non-current liability will increase, means your debt will increase. Means suppose if I take the formula, if I assume the amount 1 lakh, you can see it practically also. Then what will happen? My debt will become 3 lakh now due to this, and my ratio will become 3:1. You can see that practically also. So these are the ways to decide whether the ratio is improving or decreasing or there will be no change. So the answer is increase, because of what? Because debt will increase, whereas equity will remain same. Equity will remain unchanged. Now next is issue of new shares for cash. Now again I will restore the value as per the question. Issue of new shares for cash. Now you have issued new shares. So what will happen if you are issuing new shares? If you are issuing shares, then your equity share capital will increase and your cash will increase. The entry will be bank account debit. That's why in accounts, clarity of journal entries is must. Bank account debit to equity share capital account. Equity share capital account. So now your equity share capital will increase, and bank account is a part of current assets. It is not part of non-current assets, or it is not part of any debt. So that's why only the denominator is increasing this time. Suppose again I assume the amount as 1 lakh. Then what will happen? My equity share capital will increase by 1 lakh. And due to that, what will happen? My debt to equity ratio will become now 1:1. Previously it was 2:1. Now it has become, due to issue of shares, it has become 1:1. So that means it is decreasing. And you can see practically also, if denominator is increasing, then your ratio will get down. So decrease, the answer will be decrease. And here we will mention the reason. The reason will be debt will remain unchanged, only equity is increasing. Now next is issue of bonus shares. So if you are issuing bonus shares, what will happen? Now first learn the concept of bonus shares. Only then you will be able to decide what is bonus shares. Sometimes what happen, companies have a lot of reserves in their balance sheet. And what are reserves? Reserves are undistributed profits. Reserves are undistributed profits that you should know. See, try to be clear about logically about each and everything. Reserves are undistributed profits. The profit which company has earned but not distributed among the shareholders. So the amount of profit belongs to the shareholder. So now company has two options. One option is that you can pay that part of profit or reserves in cash to the shareholders. In cash to shareholders. But if you will be paying cash, that requires liquidity, because it is not a payment of rupees 100 or 200. It will be payment in crores. If you will see the amount of profit of companies are earning, it is in huge amount. So if you decide to distribute that reserves in cash, that is not possible because it requires a lot of liquidity. But at the same time, what you can do, second option is you can convert these reserves into shares. You can convert these reserves into shares. So what you are doing, you are reducing your reserves and you are increasing your share capital and increasing share capital. One more thing I want to highlight here, that if you remember the balance sheet, both share capital and reserves, both are part of shareholder fund, both are part of equity. So what is happening? Only the form is changing. Reserves are getting converted into equity share capital when you are issuing bonus shares. This is called issue of bonus shares. When you are issuing shares to the shareholders, to the existing shareholders out of your reserves. Now what will happen? You will not receive any money for bonus shares from the shareholders because the money is already paid from the side of shareholders. Company is having that money on the part or on the behalf of shareholders, which is kept in reserves because that money is undistributed profit that already belongs to the owners of the company. So now I hope this logic is clear that what is happening when you are issuing bonus shares. First thing, you are not getting any cash from the shareholder. Second thing, you are just converting the shares, you're just converting the reserves into shares. So now practically what will happen, your reserves will reduce and your share capital will increase. So the journal entry will be reserves account debit to share capital or equity share capital, you can say, to share capital. So now what will be the impact on debt? There will be no impact on the debt because only your reserves are reducing and your share capital is increasing. So there is no role of debt. You know, your non-current liability is not changing. So your numerator is not changing. And as far as equity is concerned, I highlighted this logic that both share capital and reserves are part of equity, are part of shareholder fund. So earlier it was also the same amount and now also it is the same amount. No value is changing due to this. Only form is changing, but both are the components of equity. So in totality, value will not change. I hope this logic is clear. So that's why what will happen, the answer will be no change because none of the values is changing. So you can give the same point, both debt and equity remain unchanged. Okay. Now next is sale of fixed assets at a loss of rupees 3,000. At a loss of rupees 3,000. First thing, what will be the entry for this? Entry will be bank account debit to fixed asset. And because your fixed assets are reducing, this is not a component of your debt or equity. Bank account is again not a component of debt and equity. But one term is there that you have incurred a loss. So that loss will be charged to profit and loss account. Entry will be statement of profit and loss account debit. If you have last year, you have done the chapter of depreciation, then you will be able to connect easily with this point. Whatever the losses you were having, you are transferring that loss to profit and loss account. Profit and loss account debit to fixed asset. So this loss will be transferred to profit and loss account. Now when your profit is, you are having a loss, what will happen? Your equity will decrease because of this loss, your value of equity will be decreasing. So your numerator is decreasing. Your denominator is decreasing. And when only the denominator is decreasing, then this ratio will get increased. So the answer will be here, increase. And debt will remain unchanged, only equity is decreasing. Here I will change the word, only equity is decreasing. Then last one is payment to creditors. So if you are making payment to creditors, the entry will be creditors account debit to cash account. Now creditors is also a part of current liability and cash is also a part of current asset. So only your current assets and current liabilities are changing. You can say reducing. But it will not impact in any manner to the debt or equity. Because of the journal entry, you will be clear about this. The entry will be creditors debit to bank account. So creditors are the component of current liability and bank is the component of current assets. So only current liabilities and current assets are reducing. but there will be no change in the value of debt and equity. That's why answer will be no change. Both debt and equity will remain unchanged. So this way, if you will try to do the things logically with the help of journal entries, what is the component, to which account it will be affecting, try to assume some amount. If you are not able to do that, then you will be able to easily solve such type of questions. And these needs a lot of practice, lot of logical clarity. So I will request that please practice such questions properly. That's all for today. Now in next period, we will be proceeding towards the next issue.